I've got this tune in my head for the Dragon Princess, because stuff is starting to weave into, like, it's, I understand now the bit that I wrote in formerly Andre's Dragon, now Legend of Brahena Lathusa, when Andre's sitting under the tree drinking the nectar and he's seen the lions laying down with the lambs and unicorns and rabbits running about the field playing together and stuff. I'm seeing everything that I've written over the last however many years literally playing out in front of my eyes, and it's surreal. It's awesome because I just went for a walk to get some milk and stuff. It's a beautiful day outside. I just walked through the most beautiful overhanging, there's like these little galleys, they call them something, but I just say a galley, that you can walk down to get to the shops quicker. I only just discovered it like about 8 months ago. I always went the long way round, but this like cuts a couple of minutes off the walk. It's absolutely brilliant. And I just noticed coming back that the bit that I go through is like all the trees have made an archway, and like all these wildflowers and that are growing up out of the cobbles, the pavement, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The sky is so blue, the birds are singing, people are talking, and everybody just, it's like in my neighbourhood, because I've been put in a bubble of protection. I've been doing it since I moved in. Remember, I've got videos of me like putting ashes in the garden and feeding the birds so that they could watch over the neighbours and stuff. It's starting to lift. The heaviness, it's starting to lift. It's like the mood in the neighbourhood is lifted, because everybody was saying good morning to me. Everybody was stopping to talk to each other. Everybody was being really polite and courteous. I had a gentleman in the co-op. I dropped a bag and I went to pick it up and he's like, no, I'll do it. He was such a gentleman. I had to thank him twice. And I love that kind of thing. I was walking back thinking this is exactly what a neighbourhood is supposed to be. There was kids that had done chalk drawings on the pavement. My kids used to do that. They used to have a big barrel of chalk, and I just used to let them draw all over the, the concrete. Dogs barking, lawnmowers going. It feels safe here. That's why I can't understand that pamphlet that got put through my door asking about loud noises and antisocial behaviour and that, because it's so quiet here, and it always has been. The only trouble we've had comes from the flats at the back. Everybody else around here is incredible. I feel safe here. And it's like the nature's starting to protect me. Remember I was saying about the animals the other day, the fox and the hedgehogs and all of that. I saw the fox in the garden this morning. And I was thinking it's that part in Andre's Dragon. And I just bought some apples, and I'm about to sit here and eat an apple, and it just reminds me of sitting under basically the grandmother trees in the Kelly forest. That's where he's sitting, and he's eating fruit off the tree. And the nectar's so good that he just sees nirvana, basically. He sees this oasis, and then he spends the rest of the story trying to find his way back to it. And he thinks he has to kill the dragon to do it, because he was led to believe that the dragon was killing people. when she wasn't. She was killing the bad people. She was the ones who were being found guilty by Grim Raphael on the Bridge of Souls. The ones who are found guilty, she takes them. She, once they're guilty, like she takes them to be judged. She takes them to the Grim Reaper. She's getting rid of the bad guys, and everybody thought she was the bad guy. Andre thought she was the bad guy. So I keep wondering if is Donald Trump still Sal the genie? Is his turnabout him trying to make up for what he's done? That's interesting. I have to put a pin in that. I don't know, I mean, it's too much hard work, I think. He might be trying to dump some karmic points, but he's going to have to do a lot more than that. Oh my God. It's not, I'm not in charge of him anymore. I got taken off the assignment. So yeah, the dragon, she's the karmic judge. She's a fire dragon, and fire is truth and justice and purification. Like when a dragon meets out justice, when they see the truth, karma deals to them. They go to the Bridge of Souls, right? And then they go down into the underworld and meet Ma and Ama. And then they will weigh it, and when you see the souls going up out of the water and into the light, they're the ones who have been found innocent. So they get to be in the light when they die. Because obviously when we die, the river Styx. I wish I still could call it Andre's dragon, but Andrew was his middle name. Gosh, wouldn't it be funny if it was about Prince Andrew? Oh my God. Wouldn't it be funny if this was about Prince Andrew? What if the eye in the sky in this case is Queen Elizabeth? Anyway, interesting. That's a new line of inquiry. Anyway, have people got it wrong? It's not. Anyway, I can't. He's been brought up in codes in the past. KY. When I keep seeing KY, and I keep saying the only thing I can think of for KY is St Andrews. I mean, metaphorically speaking, this could be about the Queen watching over her sons. The Queen watching over her son. The Queen trying to ascend her son. You could look at it metaphorically like that. I don't know the story, I don't know the people though. And I would be in a heater. Interesting. But I can't think like that because it's going to hinder the way that I write it, because as soon as I get the internet, I've got to write it. But anyway, I went totally off on a tangent there. The Dragon Princess. There's a bit where they're teaching her animal totem magic. And it's because I was thinking about it walking through the archway of branches and that. Every test is a trial, every trial is a test. And then I could hear this tune, every test is a trial, every trial is a test. And then it was dun 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 dun. And the fairy godmothers are singing, are teaching Anahita how to talk to the animals and about animal magic and nature magic and all that, while they're singing this song and they're going along the line, and one teacher's saying what her job is, and she's singing along, and then it's the next teacher's bit and she comes in, and then there's Ophelia, and she teaches animal magic. And when she goes to sing, instead of words coming out, animal noises come out. But she's like all like trying to stop herself, like it's a shock, and the music's going bum 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 bum, while she's trying to, and it just comes out like a moo and things like that. And she's like trying to cover her mouth because she's all like, oh my God, did that just come out of my mouth, sort of thing. And Anahita's only like 12, and she's giggling. Oh, Ophelia, because Ophelia's like the lovable kind of tall, skinny, sort of olive oil, like earth fairy godmother, earth witch, fairy godmother. And so, she sings because she's like, I've never sung before, and she's like, sing with passion. And because she loves animals so much, because that's her passion, that's what she's the goddess of, the fairy godmother of. When she sings with passion, it's all the animal sounds. She didn't know she could do it. So, yeah, I'm writing this whole thing in, and yeah, that tune popped in my head. So I had to write it down. Something strange in the neighborhood. Who did God call? The Ghostbuster. Am I scaring away the ghosts of Wakefield? Am I scaring away the ghosts of Outwood? All the ones that were causing trouble for everyone seem to be getting pushed out. It's very interesting. Maybe finally there's been enough time for the offerings to come into effect, which means getting rid of Starmer's coming. Starmer's going, I'm telling you now. I can feel it in my waters. The people in Andre's Dragon, the ones who drink the nectar, the ogres and, the blue caps and the pixies and the elves and the centaurs and, the ones that go and work down at the mine and in the mines and, the ones that the undesirables and that, the ones that drink the nectar, they see the truth of everything. They see it for what it really is. They know that good things are coming. They know it, they can see it, they can feel it. But everybody else is so caught up in the darkness that they're not seeing. I want to say their Saviour correctly. They're not seeing the truth of the situation clearly. But it's like today, starting to lift their heads up. It's like there's a shift in the mood in my neighbourhood, and it's like people are starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. They can see it. They know it's coming. They can see it. Undeniable. Even though it looks like on the surface everything's falling apart, people are starting to realise it's not falling apart. It's falling away. All the calcium and aluminium, yucky, blah, dirty blah is falling away. I can't believe walking through that archway. It was absolutely gorgeous. It was so foreign to me. For a minute I thought I'd taken the wrong alleyway, and I thought, oh well, it's only one street over if I have, and lo and behold, it was the one I've been going down all this time, but it has changed so drastically from like 2 weeks ago. I literally felt like I was in a completely different part of the neighbourhood. When I came out the correct side, I was like, oh, it's like I'd stepped through a portal. It just was the most amazing feeling. It was like, yes, this is what a neighbourhood is supposed to feel like. This is what kids are supposed to grow up in. I did. All those sounds, the lawnmowers, the dogs, the kids playing, the toys in the backyard, and a parent yelling to a kid through the house, and people talking on the street, and bin men doing their job, and all of that. That's men being gentlemen to ladies in the supermarket. That's what it's supposed to be, and that's what I got today. And it's a sign of hope. It's a sign of hope. It's like a ray of light has shone down, and it's saying, look, the light has come, the light of salvation, and it's shining on my neighbourhood. So it's just having a drink of water. So I've got my bills paid, I've got my shopping coming. I got a busy weekend of cooking and baking to do. I can't wait to see my babies. It's been almost 2 weeks. But I literally only had £2 in my bank. So, but I mean, don't worry, I ate plenty. I had food. That's all that mattered. All my bills were paid. I had food. The only sacrifice was not seeing my babies for a week and a half, so nearly 2 weeks actually. So yeah, but it's almost over. I can feel it. I said to my neighbour the other day, I got a feeling I'm leaving the UK soon. So if I can fix everything for everybody before I go, then so be it. It would be a lovely way to say goodbye and thank you for giving me a place to feel safe in, because the West Yorkshire Police didn't, the NHS didn't, my politicians didn't. They don't care about victims of sexual abuse and domestic violence at all, especially if they're children. So but I'm part of doing something about it now, and something is getting done. And if I've made the King see that Keir Starmer is a very bad person, and it talks him into dissolving the government so that you can have a new election before I go, then so be it. Because the end of that sentence is always before I leave, which means I'm leaving, which means I get justice and I get to get out of here with my boys. So I know how this ends. I just don't know when. In the meantime, I'm going to sit and think up tunes. Now, that tune does sound a little bit familiar, so please bear in mind when I sit down with a composer, with a musician, and he hears these tunes that I'm playing out, he might say, oh, that's too much like blah, 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 but then he can help me change it so don't get attached to any of my tunes or my lyrics, because they are subject to change. What I document is just like me making notes. So don't get attached to anything, because everything is subject to change when I sit down with the actual people who are going to turn what I've created into the song, the movie, the game, whatever. They will have suggestions, or they might say, oh, you can't do that, that's illegal, or you can't do that because that's too much like blah, blah, blah. And that's what they're getting paid to do. And they'll help me craft and mould what I'm creating into the final product. But what you're hearing and seeing now is subject to change, which is why it's dangerous to try and nick any of my stuff. It's incomplete magic. You're stealing something that's disconnected from reality. And if you try to manifest it, it's going to vanish in the palm of your hand. It's going to disappear because it's not rooted in reality. It hasn't landed in reality yet. Once my games and movies and songs and that are actually recorded with music and actors and voices and colours and all of that, the visuals and all of that, the tastes and stuff, then it's complete magic because it's manifested into reality. And that's the freaky thing, is I'm starting to see all of the stuff that I had, all my notes in that, so to speak, it's all starting to land in reality, and that's the freaky part. Because I can't believe I'm actually seeing all of this stuff, the magic that I have created. Gemini, Castor and Pollux, because my boy's a Gemini, and he's like my moral compass, he's my north, my boy Gabriel. It's like Thomas keeps me grounded. He's the one with the psychology, like he keeps me grounded, but Gabriel keeps me focused. Gabriel's the one that snaps me out, and keeps me focused. So, yeah, the Gemini and the Capricorn, the air sign and the earth sign. It's beautiful. They're my anchor. They're my laser beam. So I'm starting to see everything land in reality. And the thing is, she's a Brahina Arethusa, Queen Arethusa. She's a fire dragon, which is Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. My dad's an Aries. My sister Erin is an Aries. My niece Amber's an Aries. My nephew Jacob is an Aries. I've got so many Arians in my life. But their twin, the Aries twin, is Libra. And my ascending sign is, my rising sign is Libra. So I'm just thinking about that bit where Andre gets hit on the head by the witches, by the harridan. They come flying overhead on their broomsticks and morph into children to trap him, to take the map off him. Was Andrew set up? Was Prince Andrew set up? Is that why the camera was there? How did the camera know he was there? Was this all some plan to take the monarchy down? To destabilise the monarchy? Because if you look at it from the perspective of this being about the Queen, then that would imply, because what I wrote in Andre's Dragon was that he was walking along with Anahita, everything was going fine. You know, he was on the search to find the dragon. Thinking that he had to kill the dragon. And then he finds out the truth. Obviously at the very end, but I'm just trying to, how would that equate to Andrew's? I don't know what the Queen's trying to say in these messages. Because what happens is everything's going fine and they hear the witches cackling and flying overhead on their broomsticks. And then they hear the footsteps land on the ground, and all of a sudden these little kids come out of the corner and they're all nice and sweet. But Anahita knows something's wrong. And he offers them food, and they sit down and eat the food, and then they attack him. They take the map off him, and he's left with a bang on the head, like he's left with a sore head. And that's why they have to go to sell the genie to get another map. And he says, I'll give you another map if you take this egg back to the Phoenix on Phoenix Mountain. And so Andre takes the egg back to the Phoenix, and Spiridon, the horse with the golden hair and, hair and mane and tail, helps him navigate his way through the maze, through the maze of lava, with Andre tethered to a golden hair that has come from Spiridon. And Andre's helping rescue Spiridon's foal, which I always said Spiridon is Vladimir, and the foal being Ukraine, trying to rescue his foal, trying to rescue Russia's child. Because Phoenix is totem for mother. And like with Moana, when Te Whiti, when she gets her greenstone stolen, when stupid Maui steals the greenstone, is it? Is that right? No, not Maui. Remember when they have to go and collect the greenstone and give it back to Te Whiti? And then she turns back into Mother Nature. The volcano's erupting. Because the Phoenix is angry because her egg's been stolen. And so they send Andre in with the help of Spiridon. And in return, because Andre's paying off karmic debt for the village. He's paying off karmic debt by, doing these things to help people. So he helps Spiridon get the foal back. And in exchange, he gets to keep that golden thread, which ends up being put inside his sword. Because it's unbreakable, nothing can break it. The bond between the parent and the child is unbreakable. That's how I know Vladimir Putin loves Ukraine so much. Because he's Spiridon. And he's a Lightfoot, a Lakanor. It's Slavic for Lightfoot. I can't pronounce it, but I know how to spell it. Lakanor, it's Slovenian or Slavic for Lightfoot. because he's a flying horse. So it's like I keep saying, the beautiful thing about Andre's Dragon, which is now the Legend of Brahina Saithusa, is that when I look at it from the perspective of a lot of people in my life, it fits their life perfectly. Because we're all ascending at the same time, we are all paying off sins of the past, either for ourselves, for our parents, for our family, for our ancestors, for our neighbourhood. Like, we are the brave ones, are the ones that are doing all the tests and trials. Every test is a trial, and every trial is a test. And depending on how you pass, depends on the view you get when you come out the other side. And I just got the most magnificent view, and I just had to sing about it. So I'm going to have another coffee and eat my apple. And it's going to be the best flippin' apple, because I haven't had fruit in like 3 days. And I love to eat fruit every day. So I can't wait to start all this baking. I'm going to have a go at making my own chocolate ice cream. I am so nervous, but I'm really excited. But I know that when I sit down and I put this food out for my boys, and none of it is expensive. Trust me, the stuff I make is done on a tight budget. But they're complaining about how they're going home so full that they can't eat for sometimes a whole day. I love that. But when I was making jokes about, oh well, I just won't feed you, so they were like, no, we weren't saying all we were saying is, remember that time we came for 3 days, swear to God, Mum, over Easter all we did was eat, and we were just really full and blah blah blah. But you keep doing what you're doing, because they are loving it. I've only done one thing since I've come here where Gabriel was like, yeah, not a fan. Thomas loved it, but Thomas said he'd eat anything anyway. He doesn't care, which that's why he's not my food business partner, because I need him to have I need my taste testers to have a discerning taste. But he will tell me when he absolutely loves something. And he leaves things on his plate, and so I'm watching and observing and that, but he loves his food so much he doesn't care what he eats. Whereas Gabriel has a more discerning palate. For him, it's all about tastes and textures and flavours, and he's my food business partner. He's the one I'm in business with the food. Thomas is the movies and games and that, although Gabriel does contribute. Gabriel's the food and the products. He's even starting giving opinions about my spritzers and sprays and oils and that, because when it comes to taste and smell and that, it's impeccable. I'm literally banking on his taste and his ability to taste and smell. And then I've got my neighbour upstairs, bless him. He's the other one. I said to him the other day, be prepared for the fact that on Sunday and Monday I'm going to be bringing up a lot of food, and I promise you I'm going to take photos of everything that I'm going to make, because I'm making shortbread for the first time in ages. I'm going to be making my own chocolate ice cream for the boys to try and that, and it's all going to be done on the strictest budget. You're not going to believe what I'm going to be able to make out of this small budget. When you consider that it's homemade chocolate ice cream and homemade chocolate shortbread and homemade chocolate brownie and homemade chocolate sauce, all from scratch, and feeding the happiest tummies. And because the thing is, my neighbour, he'll say to me, he was the one, my Easter cookies is all because of him and my 2 sons. And they were all like, you have to sell this right now, this very second. My cheesecake and my cookies and, my little secret surprise, and that. He was like, but he was the one that said, put a little bit of lemon in it this time. And I did, and it changed everything. So, and I keep saying to him, because because when I put this in the bakery, or like when I took the Anzac cookies up, because it was Anzac Day, and this is, this was because of VE Day in Russia, and he loves it. He absolutely loves it, and he'll say to me, "I wasn't a fan of that," or "Oh my God," but he says he doesn't care what I bring up. He says, like, don't even worry about whether I'm asleep or not, just knock. He's the one who named me the food fairy. So food fairy deliveries is because of my neighbour. He says, "Oh, you're like the food fairy," and I thought, ding, 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 ding. Food fairy delivery. So our foundations and all of that, you'll be able to get food fairy delivery. Like food fairy delivery, they'll come around and deliver our food from our eating establishments to your room and dorm, and to the office and stuff, and it gives the kids a job and a way to make extra money. So yeah, that's because of my neighbour. Because see, when you get your neighbours involved, that sort of feedback, it pays off. And when you find someone like him, I would love to offer him a job. I would love to offer that man a job, just being responsible for helping put the recipes and menus together. Because he's already helped me do it with my oils and stuff. His sense of smell and taste is the sort of thing that the government should be investing in. Because kids like him would do wonders for tourism, for the food industry. The sort of ones that could work with chefs to put recipes together for supermarkets and stuff. Him and my son Gabriel, I'm telling you, their sense of smell and taste is bankable. So obviously when I build the foundation, we're going to have like the culinary bit, where all the chefs and all of that help cook our food will teach cooking lessons and that to kids, and we'll put recipes together. And because when I was growing up, I don't know if they do it now in New Zealand still, but they absolutely should be doing it in every school in the world. You have cooking lessons, every boy and girl from the age of, once we go to intermediate or middle school, you're taught how to cook and sew and do woodwork and metalwork. And it's useful for boys and girls. It's absolutely useful. We were taught pottery, technical drawing. We were all taught, home economics. And it came in handy. That's why Gen Zers are able to look after themselves. Gen Xers are able to look after themselves. Because we were taught how to, regardless of whether you wore pants or a skirt. Us girls had fun in woodwork and metalwork. And the boys had fun cooking, and there were plenty of boys in my class that were really good at cooking. So, I'm like, basically how I grew up in school is what I'm going to be bringing back without the boring classes. I mean, obviously, if you can do maths and stuff and you want to get into the programming or the space program or whatever, your maths skills are going to come in handy, but we're more about teaching life skills and nurturing talent, finding it as well, and nurturing talent. Because the thing is, you'll usually find that every artist, especially if they're Libras, because my ex-husband taught me this, and it's one thing that to this day I will maintain, I will always be grateful for about meeting him, other than giving me my two boys, is that he introduced me to a world of art and culture. He introduced me to like Da Vinci and Matisse and Rodin and all of them. Lowry. Oh my God, I love Lowry. I love him so much. I love his work. I'd give anything to own a Lowry. Oh my God, I just get that man. And he introduced me to wines and cheeses and classical music and all of that, because Libras, they rule that stuff. That's why I love Vladimir Putin so much, because he has a love for art and culture. He's around all these rich, famous, powerful people in their champagne and their sports cars and that, and he just prefers to sit in his garden and drink a pot of really nice homegrown tea with fresh fruits and cakes, and I love that. And that's the market that I want to appeal to, the people who have discerning taste and just appreciate the good natural things in life. Good food, fresh air, looking after your body, being around animals and nature because it feeds the soul, being around people that feed your soul. That's the and the other artists and the musicians and the designers and the creators and the movers and shakers, and they're the ones that nobody's looking at because they're a bit weird, they're a bit different, because somebody's changed the way that they've seen them, like Vladimir Putin. So many bad people have changed the way they see him, that every time he tries to show the world his true self, he gets accused of it being propaganda, and that's sad. That's why I want to do business with him, because I want to show the world who that man actually really is. So, and in turn, he's shown me how to conduct myself. How you can not want to be somewhere and act like you're in total control. The Queen did that too. She taught me that as well. There were plenty of places she did not want to be, but she had to because of royal duty, and you would never have known that she wanted to be anywhere else in the world but there. But with me, it's just because I'm shy. But I can't be shy. I have to put it all out there because I'm trying to save lives and change lives and make lives better by opening people's eyes a little wider. Eyes wide open. So, right, so I'm going to go and have another coffee and have my apple. I heard an owl screech, so there's going to be news of a death. We'll see what happens. But I can't begin to tell you how weird it feels to see everything that I have been writing over the course of the last 10 years all starting to manifest into reality. Seeing it right in front of my eyes. It's pretty cool though. It's like being on acid but having no acid in your system. It must be like I must have got a surge of serotonin. I got a natural high. Dimethyltryptamine. I must have got a surge. The chemicals in my brain must have done a surge. I've powered up, and it shows because it's having an effect on the neighbourhood, which is awesome because they deserve it. Because they've been so good to me here. They've made me feel safe. Even my boys feel safe. My boys took themselves home on the bus. That's how safe they feel here. And my son said, if we had to live in a neighbourhood, let it be a neighbourhood like this. I said a suburb. He said, yeah. He said, because it's amazing here. It's awesome. He says it's so peaceful and quiet. Which is why I can't understand when that thing came through the door. Asking, has there been any trouble? Has there been any loud noises and antisocial behaviour? And it's like, no, what are you talking about? And I'm at the front of everything. We're on position. I see everything. I get like a 360 degree view. Everyone has to go past and around me to get everywhere else. Even the people like right at the front of me, I have a view of them from my bedroom, living room and kitchen window. So I have a 365 degree view, which is Brahena Cythusa, the eye in the sky, and Andre's dragon. So, because the dragon holds the globe. So, yeah. I'm telling you, we're about to see a miracle occur, and Keir Starmer's government they're on the out, and then everything's going to change for the better. But I don't know that I don't think it's going to be who gets in who you think it's going to be, because it's almost like new parties are going to come out of nowhere. well, I'm going to form a party. Let's form a political party. Let's form a party together. And they do. And then, like, lo and behold, it's not Reform, it's not the Green Party, it's not like the Labour Party, it's not the Tories, it's not but it's none of them. It's like UK Labour First or something. UK First Labour or something. And they take everything in a completely new direction. All the stuff that I said, basically, that I saw was going to happen. And it's going to be normal, average, everyday people. People who weren't raised in a world of politics. The people who come together because they've had enough of how it's been done. Because they had enough of how they saw their parents being treated and their grandparents and their great-grandparents. All the ones that fought in the wars. All the ones that worked in the factories, all the ones that worked down mine. They saw how the governments treated them, and they heard how the governments treated them, and history's showing how the government has treated them. And it's like they're going to get together and say, well, bugger it, come on, let's do it. And they form a party or something, and the next thing you know, everything goes back to normal, but better. Slate wipe clean, and they start again, and nobody says a thing, because it's going to be evident pretty much from day one that it's already benefiting people and starting to work, because they'll scrap things like, you know, the green tax and net zero, and they'll get rid of all, like, you know, the cameras and digital IDs and solar panels, and they'll invest in cleaning up the rivers and forests and roads and all of that, rather than putting solar panels everywhere and windmills and all of that. They'll leave nature to itself. They'll leave the sun alone. They'll let the weather dictate itself, sort of thing. Farmers will be busy, and dwindling numbers of animals will rise again. There'll be, you know, more flowers springing up because there'll be no pesticides and herbicides and crap being sprayed into the skies and that. It's going to be those sort of people. Getting rid of the illegals, taking care of the veterans, putting Britain first. Britain first, the Britain First Party. I don't know, but you know what I mean. But that's where we're going. And it's almost like people can see it, or they can feel it. Certainly in my neighbourhood, it's evident that people know a change gon' come. So, as I've said for the millionth time, I keep yammering. I'm going to make myself another coffee and eat my aporo. The Māori word for apple is aporo. Can you say aporo? Aporo. Okay, I'm going to go. Have a beautiful day. God bless. Should I say God's bless? God's bless.